Okay, welcome to another episode of the Paradigm Project podcast with myself, Mark Gray. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to talk about pain and pain related to entrepreneurs, business owners, and busy professionals. Now, as someone that works with a lot of very successful entrepreneurs, people that are making a shit ton of money, um, and have just been extremely successful with their life and with their business, a lot of them have come to me because they were dealing with some sort of pain that had bugged them for 5, 10, 15, 20, even 30 years in one of the cases. And a lot of them came to me physically rock bottom in that position where they didn't really think there was any way out, that they couldn't change how they were feeling, how they moved, the pain they were in on a daily basis. Yet these people were very successful in the business side of life, but in their health and fitness journey, they were falling at the wayside. Okay. It didn't match up. Their business and health was very, very, very lopsided. And I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of entrepreneurs. I've worked with them in on the gym floor when I used to work in the gym and now online. And it used to shock me, and it still does, how many of these extremely successful people seemingly accept a life that's limited by pain. Now, as someone that has dealt with more injuries that than Christ you could shake a stick at, I've I've had broken collarbone, dislocated shoulder, fucked up shoulder over here, pardon my French, broken wrist, fingers, sprained wrists, broken arm, displaced kneecap, broken toe, pulled hamstring, injured back. Christ, I've done most of it. Um, and that's why I have the passion I do to help the people I do and help them the way I do. It's because I know what pain is, and it is a fucking pain in the ass. Pardon my French. Lots of swearing today. But I just want to spend the next few minutes talking to those people that might be in a bit of pain and they might not be able to move the way they move. They can't enjoy life the way they want to because they are limited physically. Now, these aches and pains might not look like much from the outside in, and most of the time they don't stop an individual from being able to actually live their life. Like I'm talking about a bit of shoulder pain, but that shoulder pain is stopping them from doing push-ups in the gym or putting their jacket on without wincing in pain, or simply being able to lift their kid up without um without that shoulder screaming at them. But these things add up, and they add up not just physically but mentally, and they take a mental toll. Okay, if you've been dealing with an injury for years and years and years, that shit gets old and slow very quick. And trust me, I've been there. I've been in that situation with my shoulder where it was just slow and slow and slow. How do you escape that feeling of pain and just actually becoming pain free? Now, I have the goal with all my clients to help them move better than ever before, to eliminate their pain, or at least get to a position where their pain is much, much lower. So they can go to the gym and they can do the vast majority of the movements that they weren't able to do. So they can get a stronger physique, build muscle, get leaner, feel and look a hell of a lot better. And that impacts their business, helps them become more productive, it makes them more money, and it has a big impact on their loved ones. Okay. So they can show up and just be a better version of them. As an entrepreneur myself, one of my main goals is pain-free performance. It is being able to run, jump, lift, skip, hop, you name it, is to do all that stuff without any pain. Okay. And at 33 years of age, that is very much my goal because I know that 33, or the stuff I do when I'm 33 has a massive impact on how I'll feel when I'm 53, when I'm 63, when I'm 73, okay? So the work I do now is preventative. You've heard of rehab, where you are fixing an injury after it's happened. My training and my philosophy is very much about prehab, is to prevent shit from happening, okay? It's much easier to work on something and prevent something than it is to try and fix something when it's been broken. Okay, it's your car is going to be much more or much easier to manage if you haven't smashed it into a wall. You drive it like a normal person, you service it every once in a while, you pump up the wheels, you give it good fuel, bit of care, a bit of love, a bit of attention. Much easier to look after, as opposed to if you put the wrong fuel in it, you treat it like shit, you don't fill the tires up, and you just drive it like a lunatic. Your bill when you service it is going to be a lot higher. Okay, look at your body like that as well. Preventative measures will get you a long way. So, like I said, I work with a lot of very successful entrepreneurs who have struggled with pain. And as I said as well, it shocks me how many people still accept a life that is limited by their pain. They can't train properly, they can't move properly the day-to-day life. Just simple things like tying their shoes gives them fear that their back is going to go. And that's not a life you want to be living. But it is the sad reality for a lot of people that I've spoken to and worked with in the past. As cliche as it is, you don't have anything if you don't have your wealth. You can have all the millions in the bank, fast cars, hot women, whatever it is, you name it, nice watches. But if you don't have your health, you have nada. Okay, you got nothing. When it comes to entrepreneurship, whether you're a solopreneur like myself, solopreneur, don't understand that word, but if you are a solopreneur or you are someone that has a team of 5, a team of 10, or you have a team of 500, at the end of the day, it all boils down to you. And if you are not in tip top shape, if you don't have control of your health and your emotions and how you feel and how you move, then everything else is going to be negatively impacted. Okay, so it is imperative, and to be honest, I think it's a non-negotiable that as an entrepreneur you look after yourself and you put your health as number one. Okay, it shouldn't go business, family, car, mistress, um, food, and then somewhere down here, gym, health and fitness. Okay, it shouldn't be like that. It should be health and fitness, loved ones, business, so on and so forth. Okay, your health and fitness needs to be at the very top of your priority list. And it's simple, and that's because if you have a good grasp of your health and fitness and you are prioritizing that and you were doing the things to make yourself feel better, look better, perform better, be healthier, stronger, fitter, more energetic, then that is going to have a trickle down effect to everything else in your life. You're going to be more productive. You're going to make better decisions with your business. You're going to be able to take care of your loved ones more. You are going to earn more money, and then you can do all those things that you want to do at a higher clip, at a higher rate. Okay, so your health and fitness journey needs to be the number one priority in your life. And that goes for anyone, but I'm aiming this at entrepreneurs, and it needs to be number one. If you want to build a bigger business and impact more people, create more freedom for yourself, then it has to be number one on your list. And this is the issue that a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs run into, is that they've gotten to the position they've gotten to, they've created tremendous success and tremendous wealth, and it has come at the expense of their health. They've spent the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years sacrificing their health in pursuit of their entrepreneurial dreams. And that shit sucks, okay? Because you get to that point where you have all this success and freedom and you got all these nice things, but then you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't like what you see, or you can't get out of bed in the morning without wincing in pain, or you are 30 pounds overweight and you are pre-diabetic and you've got hypertension and you have comorbidities running out your ass, okay? That's not the life that anyone should aspire to have. And that's the sad reality of a lot of entrepreneurs is they sacrifice their health in pursuit of business. But if you were to prioritize your health, you would make so much more money and your business would be so much better and your family's life would be so much better if health and fitness was number one. So when it comes to pain, I can't tell you how many of my private clients and people I've spoke to in the past have just used the words trapped and that they don't have a way out. And my job as a coach is to, number one, is to paint that picture of what it could be like in the future if they do the right things and they are consistent implement of how life could be. And two is to give them a plan of action to actually achieve that. Because as far away as it may seem, there is a way out. Okay, you ain't trapped. The vast majority of injuries and pain and movement impairments can be fixed or at least improved significantly so you barely notice it. I've had clients that have struggled with shoulder, knee pain for decades. And after a few months of coaching, they've realized that I've, I kind of realized to a certain extent, but they get almost a little bit pissed off at themselves that they didn't try anything sooner. And I'm always one to tell them that you're here in this position for a reason, is that if you had came to me earlier, you had tried something else, that you might not have been in the mindset to actually stick at it. I've had clients with 30 years of back pain and have successfully helped them eliminate that back pain. And can you imagine the impact that has on one's life? It is huge. So how does one go about achieving pain-free performance or just eliminating those pains, eliminating those aches, so you can go into the gym and you can train hard, you can train the way you want, you can train with confidence, and then when you come out of the gym and you go to your day-to-day life, that you can move with freedom, you can lift with freedom, and you can just do the things you want to do without fear of something going wrong or going for a run and not thinking, is this the time that my knee goes again for the 1 millionth time? Okay. So there's a few things you need to do. First of all, is never, this is very, very important, never ignore pain. I will, it pisses me off. Yeah, I'd say it pisses me off because this is something I've done myself in the past, and that is just ignoring pain when it turns up. Pain doesn't happen for no reason. Now, you can be sore after a workout and you can go for an intense run. You've done a half marathon or a marathon, your body's probably going to be a bit painful afterwards. But if it is just one of those things where your knee's a bit sore, or your shoulder's a bit uncomfortable, or your back is a bit painful for a few days, you can't ignore that. Because what feels small in the moment can eventually turn into a big ass problem. And you've been there before. I'm zero doubt that anyone listening to this has been in a situation where they've had a bit of a niggle, maybe they've had a bit of a knee problem running, they've ignored it. 6 weeks later, their knee is in agony and they can't do a single squat or they can't run 50 yards without absolutely excruciating pain. Or you've done the situation where you've got a bit of a bad back and you've gone, right, let me just calm the workouts for a week, 2 weeks, and I'll come back. And you're like, oh, cool, you know, it feels better. After a few weeks, what happens? Your back goes again, but this time it's 10 times worse. Pain doesn't just happen for no reason. There's always a cause, okay? So never ignore pain because that shit just gets worse. You got to train smart. You got to move smart. This is imperative to pain-free performance. You cannot be going into the gym without a plan, and you can't be going into the gym and lifting weights and moving like a dick, because it is just going to cause you more harm than good. Okay, so you need to learn how to move. You need to continually track your progress in the gym, and you got to do things to challenge your body in ways that you might not be that comfortable doing. So you got to learn new movements. You got to move the body in multiple directions. Otherwise, stuff gets stale and you're just never going to improve. You got to manage your stress. Stress. I can't tell you how many clients I've had where they've had high periods of stress through work and they've developed a little bit of a niggling injury. Once that period of stress is finished, maybe they've gone on holiday, like magic, the pain starts to slowly disappear. And that's because they're in high stress. Your body will find it very, very difficult to eliminate pain if you are highly stressed. So you need to manage your stress levels. You got to do your breath work, journal, meditate, walk, have a hot bath, whatever it is. You just need to do things to help you manage your stress better. You need to fuel correctly. You got to eat your protein. You got to fuel your body with carbs. You got to stay hydrated. These are all things that are very, very important when it comes to achieving pain-free performance. If you're an entrepreneur and you are smashing out 8, 10, 12 hours a day at your desk, you need to be fueling yourself efficiently for your workouts. Okay. You can't just be rocking up to the gym feeling like a deflated tire. You need to be fueled correctly so you can push it hard and train and get the results that you want. And then lastly, kind of linked to the last one, is you got to move well and you got to move often. You got to get off your butt, and you can't feel sorry for yourself. If you are dealing with a little bit of a niggle injury, you got to move. Okay, you got to strengthen your way out of pain. A lot of the times, like I've said, I see people ignore pain or have the mindset of, oh, I'll just rest it, see how it feels. I'll give it a little bit. I'll give it a week. I'll give it 2 weeks. And hopefully when I come back then to the gym, it should feel better. When in reality, that never happens. So you got to move often and you got to move well. Okay, emotion is lotion. Movement is the best medicine in this case. If you've hurt your back, the worst thing you can do is lay in bed. You got to get your ass up. You got to move. You got to stretch your hamstrings, your hips, your upper back. You got to work those glutes, your core. You got to move. Okay. Only then can you unlock that pain-free movement. Okay. And you got to be consistent. You got to be very, very consistent. If your goal is to move without any pain, then you have to be consistently putting the work in every day, every week for months and months and months. And then you'll get to that point where you wake up in the morning and you're not crippled with pain, or you go into the gym and you can do a squat without your knees hurting, or you can do a deadlift with your body weight on the bar. All these things are possible, but they require extreme levels of consistency and implementation. You're not going to get anything out of it if you're consistent for 2 weeks and then you don't see the light of day in the gym for another 3 weeks. And I've spoke about this before, and this is where the all or nothing mindset with entrepreneurs is very negative. Is you can't have an all or nothing mindset when it comes to pain. You have to realize that there might be times and weeks where you can go gung ho and you can have all the perfect conditions and you absolutely smash it. And then there'll be other weeks where you're very busy or you have more commitments with family and you just can't train the way you would like to train. Maybe you can only go to the gym twice that week and it has to be 40-minute sessions. Instead of sacking it off, you take the rough with the smooth and you realize that you can still get a lot done in those 2 sessions. Okay. And that builds consistency. And it's consistency over time that gets you the results. Okay. So just to finish, if you are an entrepreneur and you are dealing with some sort of pain, there 1,000,000% is a way out of that. You just got to be willing to do the work. And as someone who has dealt with more injuries then you can imagine, and as an entrepreneur myself, I can 1,000,000% guarantee that if you have the right plan in place, you are consistent and you implement at a high level, that you can achieve pain-free performance, and you can move, run, jump, feel, look, however the hell you want. And it's, to be honest, it's not that hard of a stretch. It just takes the right plan, and you need to be willing to be consistent. That's it. You don't have to do anything crazy. There's no magic formula or secret exercise you need to do. You just need to be consistent. And if you can do that, you'll smash it. Okay. But I'm going to leave it there. That was a bit of a long-winded episode. If you found that helpful and you want more content like this, you want more podcasts like this, please hit the like, subscribe, review, 5 stars if you thought it was worthy of that. And then come back next time and catch me for another episode of the Paradigm Project podcast with myself, Mark Gray. But until then, thanks a million for listening, watching, bearing with me, and yeah, speak soon.